All right, is there anyone in here who has not turned in their quiz 3? Everybody's got it? Okay. Because I'm going to go over quiz 3 right now. Here's today's participation. Okay, in part 1, you have to calculate the truth value of some complex statement given truth values for its parts. A, B, and C are known to be true. L, M, and N are unknown. X, Y, and Z are false, okay? Calculate the truth value if you can, okay? So our first statement is not A, then B, or X, if and only if Y, okay? So the first step is to substitute in the truth values as we know them to be. So not A, and A is true, so I'm going to put in false. So I get false, then true, or false if and only if false. So I've already converted the A, which is true, to not A, which is false. So false, then true is true, and false if and only if false is true. So what I end up with is true or true, and that is true. So that's how we get number 1. Okay. So number 2, we have C or X. And by the way, people did very well on this quiz. Even the very last question, which is supposed to be the hard part. Okay. And all right. Let's substitute in values as we are told they are. So C is true or X is false if and only if. Now X is false, so not X would be true then, and this is an unknown. Okay, let's take care of this first. True or false is true if and only if. Now we got to deal with this business. This unknown could be true or it could be false. True then true is true. True then false is, why did I run false there? True then true is true. True then false is false. So this is unknown, but that doesn't mean that we just stop. So let's see what happens if we do true with an unknown. True if and only if true is true. True if and only if false is false. So we did get different answers. So the second one is unknown. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Now the thing is though, just because you get to a part that's unknown doesn't mean you can't take that unknown further down, because sometimes it will not matter that one part is unknown, and you can still discover the answer. Okay, so now I'm doing number 3. Part 1, we have M and X if and only if not Z. So M is an unknown and X is false if and only if, and Z is false, so not Z would be true. So I can do this first. False if and only if true is false. So we have an unknown and false. This unknown could be true or it could be false. Let's see what happens in either case. True and false is false, and false is false. So it came out false either way, so we know this one to be false. Everybody got that? Okay? Any questions about that part? Okay? All right. Part 2 is identify a statement. We'll do the truth table on a statement, and then identify what kind of a statement it is, a tautology, self-contradictory, or contingent, okay? So, A, B, so we're gonna need 4 lines, and this one is just A, if and only if not A, so you really don't even need the B, but 1, 2, 3, 4. True, false, true, false, true, true, false, false. Okay. I'm just going to write down A, which is true, true, false, false. And not A is the reverse of the A column, so it's false, false, true, true. Now I can do the if and only if, and I get false, 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 false. Okay, so my final column is all falses. And so we have tautology, self-contradictory, or contingent, and that would be self-contradictory. When it's always false, it is self-contradictory. Everybody understand that? Okay. All right, so let's do number 2 in this section. So we have A, if and only if not A, or B. Now, look, I don't know if anyone noticed, but on number 2, the first part of number 2, the first disjunct is the same as problem 1. Does everybody understand that? So we already know what this is. It's always what? I mean, we could calculate it again if we wanted to, but I'm going to cheat and be lazy. Okay? And so now we have B. Let me write down the B column. True, false, and let me do the or. I get true, I get false, I get true, I get false. This is my final column. And so I have some truths and some falses. That makes it contingent. Okay? So that one is contingent. Everybody got that? Okay. On to part 3. This is where we're comparing the final columns of 2 statements, and instead of making you do all the work to calculate the final column, I'm just going to give you the final columns, and then you're going to tell me how these 2 relate to each other. So number 1, we have 2, 3, and 4. We have true, false, false, and false, and then we have false, true, true, and true, okay? And our options, okay, logically equivalent, let's remind ourselves of what that is. Matching, matching truth values on each and every line. Now, look, that's a very non-technical way to put it, but I think you understand, okay? And then there's logically contradictory, and that would be opposite truth values on each and every line. Okay, so we're going to look for those things. And then we also have to look for consistent, and that equals at least one line for which both statements are true, and not consistent equals no lines for which both statements are true. Okay. So let's look, and we're going to do these one at a time. Okay. Logically equivalent, do they match? No. So we're not taking that box. Everybody got that? Okay. So now I'm going to ask, logically contradictory, do they always have opposite values? Okay, opposite, 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 opposite. So I'm going to take this box, okay? That does not mean I'm done. I still need to check consistent or inconsistent. So if it's consistent, it's not inconsistent. Okay, so is there one where they're both true? No, 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 no. So it's not consistent, that means it's going to be inconsistent. So you need 2 checks to get full credit on this one. Does everybody understand that? Okay. You will always have a tick on one of those 2. Does everybody understand? Always on one of those 2. Up here, you may or may not have a tick. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So number 2. In this section, we have, now this goes true, false, true, false, and then false, true, true, and true. Okay, so I'm going to ask these questions one at a time. Okay, do they always match? No. So logically equivalent is out. Are they always the opposite?